Hi, hey, Russ here. Hey, welcome back to my shop. Today I want to talk about the cyclone dust collector for shop vacs. I've seen a lot of people put together the two-stage system on their shop vac, and I watch how they do it, and so many of them are doing it in such a way that they're creating the potential of having a problem. And I'm sure that some of them that did this a long time ago have run across this, and they've never mentioned that they had this problem, but I'm sure that it's happened to other people because it's happened to me. When I first got my shop vac, I just, like everybody else, I just bolted it right to the lid of a 5-gallon bucket, and I snapped it down onto the bucket. I took my two hoses and just hooked them right up to the inlet and outlet flex hose to my shop vac, and this flex hose I used to do all the work. Well, the problem that you run across is this is pretty weak, and that bucket is allowing that thing to really flex. And when you go to empty it, you got to pull that lid with the cyclone attached off to empty the bucket. Well, the problem is these cyclones all have the same inherent problem, and that is that they're actually very, very weak right at the base. Mine actually got stress cracks in it over time, and it started cracking and growing. And the reason it did that is because I did not support this cyclone properly at the time. What a lot of guys will do is when they first get done with snapping it onto the snap-on lid and they've got it all bolted up, and they go, man, that's really shaky. So they put pieces of plywood on each side of the bucket lid and then bolt the thing to it and say, oh yeah, that's much sturdier. The problem is, believe it or not, if you're thinking about it, they actually have made that problem even more potentially worse for that cyclone, because now you've stiffened up the lid. So now when that thing tries to rack or is pulled on or vibration gets it, all the vibration goes directly to that joint area right here at the base. And that will, sooner or later, will probably crack on you. To avoid that, there are a couple of different solutions. And it amazes me how some of the YouTubers out there, the solutions of how they do this, and even some of the big heavy hitters. My favorite solution, as far as listening to them, was John Hayes. And he says, you know, don't use a secondary collector. He doesn't use them. He doesn't think that they're worth it. Well, you know what? You must really love to clean your air filter. A cyclone will do about a 95% or more efficiency of collecting the dust. Means that he is actually cleaning his air filter 10 times more often than I am, if you think about it. And you know, quite honestly, he must really love to clean his air filters. I don't think that's a very good solution, is not to use one. It doesn't take up that much space, and if you do it right, emptying the bucket actually becomes simple, and I'll show you that before we're done. The best way is you want to anchor your cyclone at the base. Make sure that what you bolt the base to becomes stationary and never moves. It's bolted to the frame. If it's on a cart, bolt it to the frame of the cart and tie it in so that it's rigid. So that when you bolt this down to it, this thing never moves. Then you also take at the top, what I did, and this is the other problem you have with these things, is the inlet and the outlet are just kind of a weird size. It seems like most of the shop vac hoses and that stuff, they never really fit. But I have found that if you take some 2-inch PVC pipe, take a short piece, doesn't have to be this long, and you take a short piece and you heat the end of it up the last 3 inches or so until it becomes kind of pliable, and then you push it onto those neck of the cyclone, here and here both, push it down on there until it bottoms out, and that this will shape to that cyclone inlet or outlet of that cyclone neck. And then once it's in place, and hold it there for a moment or so until it starts to cool off, and then leave it alone, let it finish cooling off. Then when you take it off, it'll be perfectly shaped to the neck of your cyclone. The other thing you want to do is then take this piece, and when you put it on there, put a couple of screws in here and screw them down to where they contact the neck. Don't screw them into where it goes through this part and sticks inside. You just have to hold it so this thing becomes stationary on here and won't move around. Then when you anchor this piece of PVC pipe to your frame, just like when you anchor this stationary, this will hold this whole thing both at the top and the bottom and keep it from stressing. So those stress cracks will be less likely to occur sooner or later. So you want to anchor this thing, this cyclone, at the top and at the bottom. And then make it so your bucket is removable without putting any stress on any of your cyclone or any of the hoses. At that point, you take the hose and again, heat the other side so that your hose fits onto your other end of your PVC pipe. And now you've made basically an adapter that goes between here and here very easily, and it didn't really cost you anything except a little time with your heat gun. I found using this on my cyclone was real easy to make adapter answer so that it fit my hose and my shop vac. Actually, on my shop vac, if you noticed, this pipe from here all the way to here is all 2-inch PVC pipe, and I adapted the end where it goes into the shop vac and the end that goes into here. Those two pieces I shaped on the one end so that they fit properly, and the rest of it is just standard PVC pipe that I put together. So you can set this up pretty easily, whether you do it on a cart, do it on the floor, put it up in a stationary place, and have multiple places you want to run your shop vac hose. However you do it, doesn't matter. The key is to make this part stationary, make this part easy to take on and off. Let me show you how I did mine. I showed it to you in the original shop vac, but let me show you this again real quick so you see what I'm talking about. Because the bucket, you want to be able to easily pull it off and empty it. That's the only maintenance part of a shop vac system when you use a 2-stage system, is that bucket. So the easier you make it to pull it off and put it on, the better off you are, and the less likely taking it on and off is going to stress this thing here. Like it does when you have the bucket with the lid and you have it mounted to the lid and you got to pull it apart. You're begging for that thing to start cracking sooner or later when you do that. Let me show you mine real quick. So what I did on mine is I keep it off to the side. This is my rigid plate here. I have the PVC pipe anchored at the top so that it's rigid. This thing is very rigid and doesn't move, and there's no stress on it. To change my bucket out, all I did is I used a bungee cord here. This is a piece of MDF and the hole in the center where the dust deputy meets it. This sets up against there. It's nice and flat. I made sure my bucket top was nice and flat, so this just sets up against it like that. And in order to hold it there, I just take my bungee cord and I just hook it over there, and now it's just held in place. When I turn the vac on, this thing sucks down tight and seals so that it does collect everything, and I don't lose any vacuum out here that's noticeable. So this works very well. 10 seconds, empty my bucket and put it back on there. And in 10 seconds, my dust collection's done. So that's how you want to set up your bucket when you use the dust deputy. Or even if you're using a theme baffle, having the bucket hang from underneath and be able to take it off. Now you say, well, I don't like that bungee cord. You want a tight fit. Fine. Got a groove, put your weather strip in it on this piece here, so this sets up in it. Put another shelf here, and then you can put a wedge in here to push it up manually. Or put a screw underneath it that you can screw and push this up against the bucket. That makes you feel better to do it that way? Fine. But you still want to make it easy to take the bucket off and put no stress on that dust deputy in the process of emptying that bucket. That's the key. So, I can tell you that there's a lot of guys out there, I watch it constantly, that do it this way with a bucket with the plastic lid and everything. And it's just amazing how I still see that going on. And in all honesty, it really is a bad design. And everybody keeps repeating that same thing. So I just want to show you a better way. It's just as easy to do this as it is to do it by the bucket and the snap-on. This will go protect your dust deputy so that you won't end up with the cracks in it like I did in mine and had to fix. So anyway, I appreciate you stopping by. I wanted to relate this idea because I just saw another video again where that's exactly what they did here. And hopefully Once you see this, if you've done it already, you can change it. And if you haven't done it yet, keep this in mind of doing it this way. It's a much better way to set up that two-stage system and make that bucket easy to take on and off. So, thanks for stopping by. Don't forget to like the video. And please, most importantly, please come back again. So, this is Rambling Russ. We'll talk to you later. Bye.